Good morning. It is a cool, nearly frosty September morning here in Vermont, and the dew is still too wet for me to sit anywhere outside, so I'm resorting to the car again. Yesterday I posted a video which I called Anger and Truth in a Culture of Lies. And basically, I won't rehash it here, but what I was saying is what I see as the importance of reclaiming the powerful voice that anger can be in our culture. A voice of truth, a voice of no, a voice of I don't want this and this needs to happen, in very common sense, straightforward and potent terms. And I'll let that video speak for itself. But I got an email from a close friend of mine saying that he liked what I was saying about that way of expressing anger. But unfortunately, what he saw in our culture was not that. It was a kind of scattershot, victimized, blaming, complaining anger about this and that and pretty much everything that seemed to have no real purpose or no sharp edge. It was kind of a mass vomiting of complaint and unhappiness. And I think he made a good point, and I realized that in a certain way of course, anger, like any powerful energy, can be used for all kinds of different things. It can be used, as I was trying to describe it yesterday, as a voice, as a sharp voice to cut through nonsense and get to the heart of the matter. But of course, my friend is exactly right. It can be also used as simply a way of defending against things that we need to hear and that we need to face in ourselves and culture. Anybody in a family where there's an alcoholic who's abusive and mean and surly, who tries to speak up to that mistreatment, even abuse, so many people have experienced a kind of anger that comes back at them, an anger that doesn't want to hear the truth, an anger that's just fighting things off and avoiding things that need to be heard and need to be said and need to be reckoned with, need to be faced. So in a way, I can see where it might have come off as kind of tone deaf for me to talk about the importance of anger without also acknowledging and recognizing the very real ways that defended and defensive anger can cause harm and can just recycle and continue patterns of violence and mistreatment. So I just want to say that, of course, that's part of it, and to acknowledge that I meant to say that in that video, but that to leave that out just leaves a very one-sided impression. And it's not that the kind of chaotic grievance sort of anger needs to be repressed, in my view, because to me, as I said yesterday, repression is never the answer to this. Repression just drives things deeper and farther away from the light of our consciousness and just puts more and more things in denial, which then can explode. So it's not that by avoiding anger, we avoid the effects of anger. Not at all. Just look at what's happening in our world. We're trying to get so many ways to get away from anger whether it's anger for something or anger against something, we're terrified of it, and we try to avoid it. And part of the point I'm making yesterday, and that I still believe is true, is that repression, that avoidance, that turning tail and running from the potent force and power of anger just doesn't work. I was thinking this morning, as I was thinking about what to say in this video, that in a way, anger is like this nuclear waste site that underlies our whole culture. It's under our homes. It's under our relationships. It's under our communities. And it's becoming clearer and clearer that we can't avoid that. Whether it's MAGA anger or progressive anger or the anger of coal miners who've been lost their livelihoods and finding no other way to support themselves, whether it's the anger of women and communities that have been systematically oppressed in our culture, that this anger is everywhere, and the answer is never repression, in my view. And of course, to say, even though we're living with this toxic nuclear waste underneath and around our communities, seeping out, causing illness, causing dysfunction, causing death, causing pain, causing hardship, there's still an understandable desire to want to tamp it down. Let's just throw some more gravel on it, or let's just go to work and hope that somebody else figures out what to do, or, any of the innumerable ways of avoiding problems that we're facing can work. So this is messy. And in making a video about it, I'll invariably leave out something and someone and some truth about this that is important. But what I'm trying to get to here is that there really is no way of avoiding this and the effects of it on our lives any longer. And as messy as my attempts here may be, as messy as the frustrated and scattershot anger and road rage and rage about this and rage about that and rage about these people doing this to us and those people doing this to us, it's chaotic. But one way or another, this energy exists in each one of us. It exists in our communities. We cannot avoid it. We cannot simply, remember, some of you may remember many years ago, the Love Canal, which I don't remember all the specifics, but apparently it was a canal that they dumped all sorts of toxic waste in for many, many years. And then someone had the idea to come along and put gravel over the top of it and topsoil and plant grass and build houses. And over time, the people that lived in these houses were getting sick. They were getting cancer. They were dying. We can't hide these things. We can't pretend that simply burying them, whether it's toxic waste or whether it's the toxicity of repressed anger, we cannot pretend that burying these things makes them go away. So yes, it's messy. This is a messy video. I made what could easily feel like a tone-deaf mistake. It's messy to talk about these things. It's messy to meet someone face to face who you can see the anger all in the just gripping their body. How the hell do we deal with this? How do we find compassion for that? And part of it is being realistic about what you personally and what we as a community can and are ready to handle. It's not enough just to smile at each other and pretend that we can just be compassionate. It's not enough in that alcoholic household to just say, well, if we just be nice to Daddy, maybe he'll get over it and things will get better. It doesn't work that way. There is a sharpness, and that's why I was trying to reclaim and speak to the importance of speaking powerfully, speaking our truth, speaking up to injustice, speaking up to things that feel wrong to us, that are hurtful to us. It's important to reclaim that, because wishful thinking or toxic empathy or attempts to just be nice enough so that maybe somebody will be nice back to us, they don't work. They're not sufficient. And there does need to be the addressing of anger that can wound, anger that can kill, anger that causes damage in our community in increasingly public and open ways. So there are no easy answers to this. I'm not proposing quick solutions. There are no quick solutions. This is the unearthing of that toxicity. It is the unearthing of what we have buried within ourselves and what we ask people to bury within themselves, what we're burying as a culture, what we're not acknowledging. And what I'm saying is that unearthing not only needs to happen, it is happening. And we can participate in it. We can bring greater consciousness, greater awareness, greater resource, greater attention to it. And hopefully participate in a process where it can begin to unwind and heal and find more creative ways to express. But if we look around us, it doesn't really look like there's any way to avoid this any longer. So the invitation, as scary as it is, life seems to be just saying, this is here, folks. Avoid it at your peril. Continue to bury it at your peril. It is squeezing the life out of our culture. It is squeezing the life. It is out of individual human beings. We are experiencing mass depression as we don't know what to do with these powerful feelings that are coming up inside us. So this is not a perfect video either, but it's an invitation to bring these energies forth, to bring them into greater consciousness, to bring the resource, our individual resource, our community resource, to finding ways to bring what has been buried out of the shadows and to find ways for it to heal, to unwind, and to resolve in ways that actually work for all of us. Thank you for listening.